already, y'all. Sometimes my microphone just stops picking up for no apparent reason, so that's always cool. Welcome back. Should be recording and everything. It might be a small bit of quietness there, but it is what it is. Hopefully my mic is loud enough because it seems a little bit on the quiet side, so I'll bump up the gain a little bit just to be safe there. So we left off last, we got this. Now I did find a bug that I'm probably going to put in GitHub. Whenever you click on December, well actually if you click off of September and then you go back to here, it goes into December. And December like breaks, although I thought it was breaking. Let me double check. Yeah, so, and this is because of the way that Twitter has like this blank space on top. It gets scuffed and yeah, I don't love it. So it is what it is. What can we do? I mean, I'm gonna fix it, but for now, what can we do? My goal for tonight is to kind of get these working, because right now you can't actually select anything, and then kind of go from there, and then maybe get, I don't know if I'm gonna get scheduled posts working, just because one, we don't have any scheduled posts, and two, it's another modal. I don't feel like going through another modal, but I want to get these dispatches working so we can at least update this and then maybe start styling and then go from there. So let's hop back into the code and get working. So we need to get these dispatchers working, and we also need a way to validate whether or not the date is valid or not in the past. So it has to be in the future. So we'll have to deal with that later as well, but I'm not going to deal with that right now. Let's go back to the modal content. And we need dispatchers here. So basically what it's going to say is add some more ifs. So if name is equal to, and I forget what I called these. I think this one is probably hours. And I can take a look. So if we scroll down here, and this one is just hour. So if name is hour, and type of our value, oops, value is equal to number. So then we're going to go ahead and set the scheduled date. So we're going to say date copy dot set, and we can say hours, and we're going to go ahead and set the hours. So here we might have to do something else because it only goes 1 through whatever. So we might have to also check AM PM. So we might also have to kind of do a couple other things. So we might have to say like although I think midnight is 0 hours. Let's take a look at what military time looks like really quick. Actually no, let's just go ahead and do this. So we'll go ahead and just set hours to I think we just say value. So we'll set that to value, and we'll say set scheduled date to date copy. Let's just do this first, and then we can go ahead and fix the other one. So if, and then name is equal to minute, I'm guessing. Let's just double check. Yep, so minute, and then and type of a value is equal to number. All right, and this one is just going to say set, actually we need to say date copy, and that's nothing what I want. Date copy dot set minutes, and this is going to be to value, and then we'll say set scheduled date to date copy, and then finally what we're going to need is a const string. So const, and then this is going to be AM PM, and set AM PM equal to use date, and this will be a string. And so this needs to start out as if I scroll down here, I think I have a thing here. So that's a month. Data get hours divided by 2. So we're going to copy this, and we're going to change the data. So now inside of here, and hopefully yeah, this should work. So we're going to go ahead and do one of these. We're going to return this, and instead of scheduled date, we're going to say, I guess we don't need the return because it's a single line. We're going to say new date dot get hours, and then AM and PM, just to be safe, to make sure that it's there. And then we're gonna pass AM PM into data now. So we're gonna go into data, set AM PM. We're also gonna go ahead and okay, that's fine. I was gonna make hoping that it wasn't gonna break anything. And then finally, if name is equal to, and I think I called this AM/PM, except it's gonna be lowercase. So AM/PM, and this one has to be a type of value. Whoops, type of value needs to be equal to a string because it's a string. If this is the case, we're gonna go ahead and set AM PM to the value. So it's either gonna be AM or PM. Now this one, I'm pretty sure we're going to change. We're going to have to update this. Update to calculate. Whoops. Calc. I could type calculate army time basically, or 24-hour time. That way it actually knows like the time of day. Otherwise, I don't think it's gonna work. So let's go ahead and just see what happens here. Let's go back into Chrome and let's go to refresh just to give it the best shot possible. Hopefully I didn't break anything. But now if we change this to 1, okay, it's not working. That one's not working. And oh, you know what? I gotta actually set these. So we're gonna go ahead and copy our update scheduled dates. Now I also never changed the year. Interesting. So of course it's not gonna work. You gotta go ahead and paste these in. So these will all just get called here, and now it should be good to go after this. I don't know why that dispatcher is doing that, but okay. Cool. So that should be good, I believe. Let's just go ahead and double check. So we come back in here now, and now we give it a refresh. So if we go ahead and say here, and we can go ahead and say January, sure, 7, 2024. Okay, it's still not working. Okay, hours working, minutes working, and this one's not working. Okay, so let's go ahead and double check what's going on with these ones. Let's just go ahead and just console.log the value. Console.log the value. Actually, it's name and value. And let's just double check name. Okay. So it's year. I just never did year, so that explains that. If name is equal to year and type of the value is equal to a number, then we will go ahead and say date.copy.set, and this one is full year. We'll go ahead and pass in that value. We'll set scheduled date to that date copy. So year should be fine. Let's go ahead and see what's going on with this one, because this one should work, I believe. So let's go ahead and just see what name and value look like. And I might just need to change what the name looks like, or maybe string or something. Let's hop back into Chrome. Let's open up our inspect, and let's go to console and refresh and pop this up. So now if we change year to 2024, it changed to 2024. That's all good. Now AM PM, what's going on here? So I got not a number, so of course it shouldn't be a number. So what's the problem here? Equal to string. Are we getting into here? Console.log. Are we here? I mean, it shouldn't be a number, so, and this one takes in a string, number, or boolean, so that should be perfectly legal as well. So let's just see, refresh again and pop in here. So value AM, okay, and then we get AM PM. I don't think it's ever reaching here, because for some reason we're getting type of value equal to not a number. Let's go ahead and check the date selector and see what's going on in this guy. So this one, I'm pretty sure all it does is just calls it, right? So whenever we change value, it just calls change value and change value. Is it because of the plus? It might be because of the plus, but if I change that, then everything's gonna break. It's trying to set the value to a number. shoot. What we could do, we could change this to a 0 or 1 or something like that, and that might be okay. So what we could do is we come back into our util instead of our util, although we might, what we do, okay, so the value here, let's say value, whoops, I did not like that. Okay, value here will be equal to 0, and then value here will be equal to 1 maybe. And then what we can say is that's fine. And then what we can do is go back into here, and this will also be a number. And then we'll go ahead and we'll set value equal to 1 question mark, and then we'll say PM, otherwise we'll say AM, and that's what we'll set there. We can close out of this, and we can get rid of this, and I believe that should fix that issue. We'll go ahead and take a look now in Chrome, and if we refresh and we pop open this guy, and so that should be PM, so that's a problem. Value 1, value 1. Interesting. So set value AM, PM, PM or AM, AM, PM, and then this one, is it because of this? Although it's saying it's AM, right? Refresh. Yeah, it's setting it to AM by default, which is not correct either. Although the value is probably broken now, because data needs to be 1 or 0, I think. So that's the problem. So I guess let's do this, because if we look at the thing that we're displaying whenever it's, so it just says generate date string. So I think we might be able to get away with this. We might be able to just say it's 0, so this is 1 or 0, and then this is going to be a number. We might be able to get away with this maybe, and then here this will once again be 1. Although we don't need to do this, we can just say set this to value. Set PM to value. This might work. Let's see. Just trying things. Okay, so it starts out as PM as we expect. And if we change to AM, it works just fine. Now the only issue is this still says PM, and that should say AM. And that's what I was concerned about. So whenever we might have to convert the hours to army time, basically. Let's go ahead and take a look at, I think that 12 AM is 0, basically. But I gotta double check that. So let's just look at a 24-hour clock. See the mappings? What we might have to do is like divide by 12 or get mod 12 or something. So midnight is 0, and then although it says midnight is 0 and 24. So which one do we choose? Interesting. Although this one says midnight is 0. And well, let's do this. So we gotta think about how we're gonna calculate AM or PM. So we need to basically set hour depending on whether or not this is 1 or 0. So we could, like, basically if it's PM, how do we want to do this? Because if it's AM, basically we want to, can we do mod 12? I think 12 mod, we might be able to say mod 12. So And then if it's PM, we can do something else. So let's try this. So we'll say, let's say if AM PM is equal to 0, if it's AM, I'll add a comment here. If it's AM, although this isn't going to work for 12 PM. Although, yeah, it will, because as soon as it hits 12, it'll be PM. We won't have to worry about it. So I think that'll be fine. So if it's AM, we're going to say value is equal to value mod 12. And then let's see if this works. And we're going to go ahead and set this to value. I don't know if this is going to work or not, so this is what I'm curious about. Let's go ahead and save, and let's just go through the hours in the AM and see if it works or not. So that's terrifying. Let's go ahead and refresh and come in here. So we set this to, did we console? I guess we'll see it up here if it goes to AM. Set this to AM, and the issue might be that we haven't changed hours. But if we go to 1 PM, okay, so it's not working. Terrific. Let's see, let's console.log what this looks like. If AM PM equal to 0, let's console.log the value, console.log the value, and see what happens. Although we might not be able to say, let's say let new hours equal to this. Let's console.log new hours, so maybe we can't actually change value. Let's just double check that. Let's refresh. So if we come in here, go into here, so now it says PM. If we change to AM, and then we say 1, so values 1, we say 2, values 2, we say 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, then this should be 0. Yeah, but it says 0:18 AM. So it doesn't quite work the way that I want to. So, if I change this to PM, change it to 2, well, nothing's happening now. If I go ahead and say otherwise, basically want to add 12 to this. So if we say let new hours equal to value plus 12, and then date copy set hours. See, I wonder if we do UTC hours. So UTC hours sets the hours value in universal coordinated time. So I wonder if we set hours in UTC, what'll happen. We'll try that as well. So new hours, we'll also copy and paste this, but that's, the hours are definitely doing what I want to do. It goes down to 0, but I don't think it's doing what I want to do. So if I refresh and come back in here, and it says PM, if I click on here, obviously this didn't change to AM, so I need to change the hour maybe, but that should stay the same. If I go to 1, it goes to 7 PM. That's terrific. But now this is just absolutely broken. That's interesting. Okay, so that's definitely not what we want. We're not going to set UTC hours. Let's just go back to .set hours. Let's go ahead and change this to set hours as well. We need a way to set AM and PM in JavaScript. We go ahead and do this. So now it says PM. I'm guessing this will just work. 3 PM, 7 PM, go to AM, 1 PM, 2 PM. Okay, so let's just say JavaScript date set AM. There's an easy way to do this. How to add AM PM to time in JavaScript. Let's just take a look. This says to locale string, doesn't help me any. I don't care about that. I want to know how to set 24 hours. I don't care about displaying. I want to set. For AM PM to 24 hours. Is there anything good in here? This doesn't help me either. Here. Back. Java date set 24 hour format. I don't want to convert it. I want to be able to set this. This is not what I want either. As I can say, because that's the thing, I want to be able to set like this, right? This one says I can do new date, but I don't know if I want to do it that way either, because that kind of seems like a pain in the backside, and that makes me undo all the stuff that I had to do. Is there a way? Set hours, hour, minute, second, millisecond, and then set time. There's a set time. I wonder if set time will do what I want. Although set hours says 0000 sharp. Let's see what set time does and then kind of go from there. Let's try set time. So we'll go ahead and say set time. And then same thing here. So what if we say set time? Does this change anything to AM PM? So it still says PM. Let's refresh real quick. Come in here. Change this to AM. Change this to 160. So it does not like that. So let's change this. Let's refresh this. And now let's say set hours. And let's try it in the other way. Set hours. Set hours. There's another way that this showed set hours. So they also said you could add zero, 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 zero. Although I don't know what the other four are. So minute, second, milliseconds. I just need hour and minute, right? What if we say this? So if we say new hours, comma, date.get minutes. Actually it'd be scheduled date.get minutes. What happens if we do this? Let's try this one. Copy this one. Paste that one. Will this one get us the 24-hour clock that we want? Refresh. So of course it still says PM. Changes to AM. It doesn't do anything. We go to 1. Still says 1:25 PM. So I'm curious. What if we set it to a new date with all of the information that we already have? So this one, let's try this. Because there's another one we could say new date. So if we come back in here, there's one that says new date and you can set the hours. So new date, it says Jan 0000. This one also says the hours are 0. So what if we say 2000, like whatever year that we have 0, which would be, I don't know what 0 means here. Where is the... Doesn't say what the 0 is. Here. Year, month. Excuse me, year, month, date, hours, minutes, seconds. What if we do this? Let's go ahead and say... Let's go ahead and say this. Let's go ahead and try to that schedule date to a new date. And then inside here, let's copy this. So we're gonna say scheduled date dot get full year. We're gonna say scheduled date dot get month. We're gonna say, I think it's month and then day. Let's double check. Yep. So scheduled date dot get date, and then we're gonna go ahead and say new hours and scheduled date dot get minutes. I don't care about the seconds and milliseconds, honestly. I'm just trying to get AM and PM to work because I know for a fact that this is doing what I want it to do. So if I come back in here, let's try again. I don't think it worked again, so this is gonna be a pain, I guess. Huh. Oh, it's because... Actually, I don't know what's going on with that. Let's go back to AM, and we'll say 1. So it says 128. See, now it worked, though. This one says 12:00 AM. Should say 12. But then it goes back to PM. Like, do I have to say like 02 or something? Like, I don't really understand how we set it to morning. We gave it the exact hours that we wanted it. Like, we wanted it at like 2 o'clock, not 1200. So what happens if we do the PM? So if I go into PM, although I don't think PM is set right now, so let's just change PM really quick. So we copy this once again and then paste it here. So what does PM do? Does PM act as it's supposed to? Let's refresh. Because PM is gonna like be 1300. 1 PM, 2 PM. Although let's console.log new hours to make sure this is working as correct. Make sure it actually does show like what it's saying. Refresh. And here, say 1 PM, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 3, and then this is probably going to roll over to AM again. Yeah. Except with PM, let's say if we want it to be 12 PM, so we'll say, what do we want to say? If new hours is equal to 24, then new hours will be equal to 12. We'll just reset that. Now the issue again is the morning time. I can't get morning to work no matter what I do, even though it's acting like it works. Let's just check this. Why'd that change back to 1? Values 12. That's interesting that broke. The rest of this worked though. Go to PM, 2 PM, AM, so 12 AM, and it goes back to 1. So we got some wonky stuff going on here. I really don't want to have to rebuild this entire thing, but we might have to. Not sure. From what I can tell, this should be able to set it to the morning time. I mean, what we could do is this. Another option is to do this. So let's undo all of this. We could set the hours and then we could say minus 12 hours if it's AM. Let's try that. So let's undo everything we did here. And get it back to the point where we weren't checking for AM or PM. Changed a lot. So let's do this. So we're gonna set date copy this. We're gonna say if our AM PM is equal to 0. So if it is AM, we're gonna say date copy dot set hours, and we're gonna say date copy dot get hours minus 12, since it doesn't want to work with AM and PM. Let's see if we set the value to minus, or the hours to minus 12 hours. Theoretically, if it's 12 PM and we set it to backwards, it should work. I don't know. This is going to be a little bit wonky, I think, in the later half, but let's see what happens. So let's refresh. This is my best idea. So if we say AM, so I think we're going to double check this whenever we go back through. It still says PM. I want to look at what the time is looking at. So let's go ahead and console.log. Console.log. It might actually be the display, maybe. I don't know. Console.log. We're going to console.log the date copy.get local string. I think it's local string or to local string, because to local string shows everything. Let's just see what it looks like after we, well, I don't want it here, I guess. I want to copy it maybe at the end of everything. It might be something not in this actually, and maybe it was working the whole time. Let's refresh this. Maybe come in here and let's say we do 1. So it says 1, this says 1 AM. So I think that it's actually our calculate that's not working. If we say 2, it says 2 AM. Or is this because we're subtracting 12 hours? So that says 12 PM. And this got scuffed again. So this is an issue, obviously. So we have it on PM. If we say 2, it goes back to 2 AM. Okay. So I think we need to go back and set the 24 hours. So let's go ahead and try that again. So if AM, we're going to say, so I think if AM, we can leave it alone. So if it's AM, although never mind because of the 0-100, right? Let's not do this. I'm guessing that this was working fine. Let's go ahead and get rid of this. Let's just see what this looks like again. So right now, if I change this to 1 AM, 2 AM, 3 and 12 breaks for some reason. That goes to 12:30 AM or PM, which is fine. That's what we wanted at. I don't know why this is breaking. We'll have to figure that out at a later date. And then obviously this was never an issue. But yeah, so if it's PM, and we need a way of setting it to like 12:08 to 0-100. So I'm gonna try setting it to the zeros again. So if the AM PM is equal to 0, we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna say date. We're gonna say let new hours equal to value mod 12. We're gonna go ahead and set this to this, and let's just see if we can at least get 12 a.m. working here. So copy that, paste that, save that, and in here let's refresh and come in here. When we set this to AM, nothing changes just because all it did is change this, although we should probably change this to like 12 hours, minus 12 hours or something, or plus 12 hours depending on where it is. I don't know. Or we can get this and change it, but either way, if I change this to 1, it goes to 1 a.m, 2 a.m, 12 goes to 12 a.m. So that worked, except this changed again. But that worked. This part is scuffed, so we're gonna have to fix this. I think what we might do is we might just steal this part out of the local string, and that might be a lot easier. So that's fine. So let's go ahead and say else, and we're gonna do the same thing we did before. Let new hours equal to value, and actually we'll say let new hours equal to, and we'll say value equal to 12 question mark. If it's equal to 12, we're going to return 12. Otherwise, we're going to say value plus 12. Then we'll go ahead and say date, copy, set hours, and let's see if this works. Value, this would not be value, this would be new hours. Save that, and then we'll also update this. Now for AM and PM, we're going to have to figure out how to set the hours differently whenever we update this, just so it actually works. But that'll be a different concern. So let's see if we can get PM to work. So right now we change this to 1 p.m, 2 p.m, 12 p.m. Obviously the selector doesn't work, and this is a little bit broken, but that's working. So cool, that's good to go. Now we need to figure out what's broken with this, and we also need to fix this guy. Let's go ahead and fix this. For this, I'm just going to cheat. I'm going to go ahead and use the string local. Let's go into our utils. So I believe this is. I believe we have a... Well, I guess we don't have it in here. I guess it's in modal content, and it's in here. So I'm just going to delete this. And honestly, I think we might be able to split it by might be able to actually might be able to say, let's do this. Let's say console.log, let's say date copy dot local string or local time string. What does this look like? I might be able to just grab the local time string, although local time string might be in 24 hours. That's why I'm a little bit concerned about it. Let's check this. So we say 2 blah 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 PM. That's what I want. And we could go ahead and say that so let's do this. So we're gonna say 2 locale string. Let's come in here. We're gonna change this up. We don't need AM PM hours, which is a const time equal to scheduled date dot to local time string, and we're gonna go ahead and say that we can just do this. It's gonna be time dot we can split it, although we don't want to do that, do we? We need to slice it. But the issue is, the thing that I'm concerned about is this. So yeah, so if I say like 10 o'clock, it's gonna have extra. It's not gonna work. So what I'm gonna have to do, I am gonna have to split it by colons, because I don't care for this part. Because that's the thing, I could split it by here, but Twitter doesn't show all the extra stuff. So what I'm gonna do is I'll split it by colons. I'll grab 0 and 1 and go from there. So we'll say time is this, and we're going to have, I guess, time dot splits, and this is gonna split by the colon. We're gonna have 0. We're gonna have $sign. I don't know how AM PM is even working, but it is what it is. Time dot splits, and once again we'll split it by this, and then this will be 1, and then instead of AM PM it's gonna be time dot splits. We're gonna split by a space, and this is gonna be 1. I think that should work. Let's see. So far so good. I'm in here 9:42. If I go to AM, now we need to actually change the value to like minus 12 hours or plus 12 hours, I think, whenever we change it. So if we come in here and let's just say value is equal to 0. If value is equal to 0, that means it probably was PM already, right? So that means we want to subtract 12 hours. So we're going to say date copy. Oh, this isn't going to work. We're going to have to do an if statement. If value is equal to 0, because it's not returning anything, we're going to say date copy. Oops. Date copy dot set, and this will be hours. This will be to date copy dot get hours, and this one should be minus 12. Otherwise we're gonna do the opposite. We'll add 12 hours. Date copy, I could type date copy dot set hours. We're gonna set date copy dot get hours, and this would be plus 12 hours. Whoops, this should be get hours. Yo, thank you for the subscription. I appreciate you. And here we'll go ahead and say set scheduled date to our date copy. And I don't know if this is going to work. We'll have to see if it's going to actually change it from AM to PM. But I think theoretically it should, because we're just adding 12 hours or subtracting 12 hours. And if the value got set to 0, that means we're in PM. And otherwise it got set to 1, which means we're in AM. So we need to do one or the other. So let's go ahead, take a peek. So if I go here, let's refresh. So it should start out as PM. If we go into AM, 9:44 AM, go into PM, 9:44 PM. So I'm curious to see why going to 12 breaks. So value is 12. It goes to 12 whatever PM. If we go to AM, that's 12 AM. So I'm not sure why this is broken. Let's go and just take a quick peek, and this is probably going to be inside of the other thing. We can at least take a look at this. It might be because of the hour. So is it because of the data to get hours mod 12? It could be because of that. It could be because of this. Although the dispatcher, you know what, it might be because of that, but that doesn't make any sense either. Because unless it goes to, it might be going to like 24. No, that doesn't make sense either. That would still be 0. I think it might be going to 0. It gets confused and then goes to 1. Maybe. We could say scheduled date dot to. Not gonna like this. Locale time dot split. We're gonna split it by this. Get 0, then add a plus to it. Because it's the data that's it's getting scuffed on. Although it might be going to value 0. because 12 mod 12 is 0 and not staying at 12, which could be the case, I guess. Well, if we do this, refresh, we change it to that, we go to 12, it stays at 12, but we'll just do that. And this is just because of the weird 24-hour clock thing that they got going on. So that is fixed, so that's a good fix. So now what we need to do, I guess, let me think about what we need to do next. I think we calculate everything. The only thing that I don't think we do is, I don't know if we have a way of currently setting whenever something is like more or less like actually scheduled. I don't know what our post guy looks like. Let's go to our post selector or our post slice. So post slice has content. Let's see. This has a current post on it. So we could say current post. We could say state should have the current post. So that should be fine. But I think we want to go ahead and create a new. Although we have an update current post, which what does this take? It just takes an action.payload, right? Although we're going to do two of them because we need to update two fields. We need to update the scheduled date. Actually, I don't think we update the scheduled date. I think we just, well, no, yeah, we do. We want to set the scheduled date and we want to set the is scheduled. So I think that we go ahead and create a set schedule date here because there is a set pull date. Let's go ahead and say set schedule date, and then whoops, if I could type state action payload action. This will be, I guess there'll be a date. No, you're not really supposed to allow it to take dates, but it is what it is. And what's the problem? Schedule dates. I don't know what I'm missing. Oh, I put it in the wrong spot. Let me fix this. There it goes. There. Okay, so basically we're gonna say, we're gonna make sure if state dot current post, right? We need to make sure that we have a current post. Just return the state. If there's no current post, we'll just ignore it. It's fine. Although I think if you click on it, it should create a current post, so it's fine. And we're gonna go ahead and say let post equal to JSON dot parse. I don't know how that works because there's a date in there, but whatever. JSON dot stringify. We're gonna say state dot current post, and then we're gonna go ahead and say post is equal to dot post. We're gonna go ahead and set the scheduled date. We shouldn't have a set scheduled date to post, although it might not say it's a post. What if we say post like that? Post comma scheduled date, and this is going to be the action.payload, which is the type date, and then we're going to say scheduled, which should be true because it is scheduled. Then we'll say state is equal to dot state, and then we're going to go ahead and say post, the current post is equal to the post, and then we'll go ahead and return that state. So if nothing happens, it's fine. So this is going to be called whenever we, I guess, click a button. Let me look at what Twitter looks like really quick. So this will happen whenever we click confirm. So I guess we can go ahead and do this. And now that I'm on Google Chrome, I decided to go ahead and start developing Google Chrome because it actually works in incognito mode. So this is good to go, I believe. Pretty simple. Let's go ahead and export. Go ahead and copy this. That scheduled date. I probably maybe could have named it something else, but it is what it is. Grab this, throw it in there, save that, and then back into our thing here. We're going to need use dispatch, port, use dispatch. We're also going to need not root state, app dispatch, which might be this app dispatch. There we go. And then let's go ahead and say const and dispatch equal to use dispatch. This should be an app dispatch. Let's fix that. App dispatch. Whoops. I love when it does that. Cool. And then let's go ahead and come down here and let's say const schedule. Schedule post is equal to an arrow function. And then this is going to say dispatch. And this will dispatch our set scheduled date. And this is going to take in our scheduled date. Or scheduled date. What is your problem? Scheduled date. Because it's not taking in a date, because that's definitely a date. Patch. Let me read into this. Date, scheduled date. Overload. No overload. Call this. Need to import this maybe. Yeah, I don't think this got imported. So if I could import this, please. And it definitely got exported. So let's just go ahead and try to import it manually. Import set scheduled date. You know what? Oh, that should be fine. Set scheduled date. Set scheduled date. And there we go. I just spelled it wrong. That's good to go. So now whenever we do that, we'll do this. We don't need this use effect. Let's get rid of that. And now what we want to go ahead and do is we might also want to dispatch to close this. And I'm sure that I probably created one inside of the photo slice. Let's see. Update display schedule. Yeah, so I'm guessing it's just called update display schedule. Do we even pass it false? Nope. So what we're gonna do is also inside of our content here, we're gonna dispatch update display schedule, like so. We're just gonna pass it like that. We'll also close out of it. Let's go ahead and copy this, and then on the there should be, oh, you know what? Shoot. This is in the top. Ooh, this is gonna be not good. I don't like this. What we could do is we're gonna have to do is this, I guess. We're gonna have to dispatch this every time we make a change, which I don't love, but it is what it is. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to do it like this, because I forgot that the X or the submit or confirm is actually in the top. So I guess if you just start clicking on things, it's going to change it, which I don't love that idea, but it is what it is. I don't really know how Twitter does it, so maybe that's how Twitter does it. Let's actually make sure that this is working. So every time we dispatch, or every time we change something, it should dispatch into there. So let's go ahead and just, and it might be delayed by one. We'll see how it works. Let's hop in here. I'm gonna go ahead and open up Redux, and I'm gonna actually close out of this. I'm gonna open it up in a new panel. This, because it's easier to look at, and I just scuffed everything. Perfect. All All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and just do this. And then if I start clicking on stuff, hopefully this is gonna work. I don't think it is. I don't see any actions. I don't see any states. Let me try again. Redux dev tools to left. Okay, there it is. So right now everything is like there's nothing in there. So if I change this to 6 p.m. So there is a set schedule. It does have a payload. I'm assuming that's 6 p.m. If I go into the state and then go into, now you guys can't see this. Let's just take a look here. So if I come in here, I go down to post and then I go to schedule date. We do in fact have a scheduled date. I'm assuming that's correct. Although this says 7 and this one says 8. So that's a little bit concerning. That this says, oh, you know what? It might just be a time zone thing. It's probably fine. I'm not gonna worry about it. It's probably a time zone thing. It says 3:03, but this one says 6 p.m. So yeah, it's probably a time zone thing. I'm not gonna worry about it. It should be fine. It shows the correct date up here and everything else, so that's good to go. And it's setting everything. So now whenever I click confirm, what I need to go ahead and do is close out of this. And we also need to make sure that this date that we have selected here isn't backwards. So let's go ahead and I guess create a validator really quick, and then we will confirm that, and then we can do some styling for about an hour here, give or take. So let's come back into our code and let's see here. So we're gonna go into our, I had validators open. So validators, let's go ahead and say export const. We're gonna say validate future date equal to, and this is gonna take in a date, a D, and we'll just call this date, and this will return a boolean. So this is gonna take in the current date, and we're gonna go ahead, I'm just gonna say JavaScript check if date is in future. That's all we really need. Probably something really easy to do this. Yeah, you can just redo them. So we'll go ahead and say let current date equal to new date, and we'll say return. We should probably also validate that's a valid date in general, but again, I'm too lazy. So return, we need the current date less than or equal to the date that we pass it. Then that should be good to go, I believe. So then if we put a date that's not in the future, it should complain. So now inside of our schedule post modal, now we can go ahead and pass in valid instead of true. We're gonna say validate future dates. We're gonna pass in scheduled date. And the only issue that I can see is if we change, like, it goes up in time because we took a second, but I'm sure it'd be okay as long as you're kind of clicking things in the future. We might have to work a way into fixing it, but we'll see what happens here. So now we'll say valid is equal to validate future date with the scheduled date. Come back in here, refresh. So if we come in here, so December 7th at 10 o'clock, if we say 1 p.m., it's not valid. But if we say like 11, it's valid. And then obviously if we say, let's say this 5th, it's not valid because it's behind. I think that's good enough for government work for me. Go back to 7th, go to like 24, it's valid. So that's all good to go. So now we can go ahead and do some styling. I'm going to pull it up on the side. We're just going to play around with it. So I think we already have the top more or less done. Also, let's actually go ahead and click on confirm because confirm doesn't do anything. Let's also get confirm done. Although that should do something. Close modal. Although that's just the X, so I need to also go ahead and click close modal on here because we're setting it as we change it. So save that. We should probably we should probably only go ahead and dispatch this if our validate future date of date copy, because we want it right now, is true. That way we don't dispatch it to a later date. So we'll only go ahead and dispatch the dates in the future. And I think that's good to go. So now I'm gonna go ahead and take a look at some of Twitter's styling and stuff. And so this SVG, which we already have, is approximately, and I don't know if we can change the size on it, but it's like 15 by 15. So this, I'm guessing we used a, oh, we already have it. We need a color though. The font color is probably just the color that we already have in the app.tsx. So I'm gonna grab this color. It's probably this dark gray color if I had to guess. Copy this, and then, although I don't have the light theme on, but I'm pretty sure it's the same color, dark scheme theme. I think I need to do font color on this. Actually, it's just color, isn't it? Color gonna be this color. Now I can't make it, I might need to make it smaller as well. I might need to make font size slightly smaller, because let's go ahead and see the font size on the text beside it is 13px, and that's kind of what I'm worried about as well. We need to figure out the date selector as well. That's going to be another problem. Although, you know what? This is the wrong thing. So this should be height. This should be like 15 by 15. I already put the color in here. So this should actually be color. Should be black. So I was looking at the wrong one. Fine. So let's see here. How do we want to do this? Let me think for a second. Let's take a look again. So that actually seems a little small. That's 15 by 15, but that seems a little small. Let's try like 18 by 18. It'd also help whenever we do this font. We should probably wrap this in a P, to be honest. Although I didn't do that. Well, we can put a flex there. It's fine. So /P. Go to class name. Class name equal to, and we'll say something like schedule hash post modal contents, scheduled date maybe. Hopefully there's not another scheduled date in there. Let's go ahead and just start with these. So this one, copy. And I think this one is just fit content. So let's go ahead and do the CSS. Do we have a CSS? We do. Let's go ahead and bring this over here just so it's easier to see. We'll do that. So here, I think we're just gonna go width is 100%. Or actually, yeah, we'll say width 100%. And height will be fit content. I'm not sure it's gonna do anything because we also, yeah, so it's not gonna do anything because of the size of this, but once we get stuff going, I think it'll be fine. I'm not gonna do any of the padding or anything in this just because it's gonna break the bar at the bottom, the line at the bottom. So I think this is fine. So the top, copy this, and I don't think we need anything else on that one. So the top can be, I think what I mean by top, and let me double check this. We have a top that has label. Yeah, okay. So this one will be where we have our padding. So we can have padding of like 8px or something. And then this one again will be width 100%. And height will just be fit content for now. And I don't think we need anything else in this one either. I don't think it's a flex or anything, because everything's just kind of stacked like normal. We could flex it, but I don't see the need to flex this one. I think this will work just fine. Now this is obviously broken. We have a couple other things to fix, but I think this is fine as is. The only issue is that the width seems wider. Let me check this. So what is the width of this div? 600? What's the width of our div? Width of this guy is 567. Well, that actually might be 600. It might be okay. I think we're fine. It just looks weird because of the scale and stuff. So from here, let's go ahead and do, whoops, we don't need that. Let's go ahead and do this part. So modal schedule info, let's copy this. So this one will once again be width 100%. Height will be fit content. This one will have a display flex, and justify content. I think we want to flex start this one and then align items in the center. I think that's going to be the move. We can add some spacing and stuff with margin or whatever. So yeah, that's the move. And we might want a little bit more padding. Let's go 12 padding on this. I think that's a little bit small. I think that looks a little bit better. And I can't actually tell if it did anything, but I think that looks okay. Then we need to fix this. So this is like 12 font, and it's gonna be the same color as the other guys. So let's go ahead and grab this one. But this one we're gonna ignore. We need schedule post date. Grab this. Do this. So this one we have a font size of like 13px. We have a color of, let me grab the color from in here, so it's gonna be the same exact color. Paste this. I don't think we need anything else. The only other thing might be font weight. This is pretty thin, maybe 400 or 300. And we might need a little bit of margin on the right, on the left side of it actually. Yeah, I think we want some margin left. Maybe like 8 pixels or something. And I think we can make this slightly bigger. I don't know why it needs those scups. Let's say a margin left of 8px. We'll also go ahead and make this back to like 20 or 24. I think it does look a little bit better, a little bit larger. 20. I think that's all we need to do for that guy. So we might even need a little bit more than that. Let's say that was 12 pixels, 8 pixels. Let's try 16. See what this looks like. That might be big. Let's go back to 12. Okay, we're gonna go 12. I think that's fine. That's good. Cool. I'm happy with that. Okay, so now we got will send on whatever. This is what Twitter looks like. It might not be perfect, but it's close enough. Now we need our date. And date is the same color. The font size is just slightly bigger at like 15 pixels. So we'll go ahead and grab the content label. Copy this guy and do this. So font size be 15px. And the color is the same, so it's this color 657786. Font weight will once again just be like 400, and it starts right on the edge, so it's nothing different. So we should already start seeing some differences here. So that looks pretty good. Now it looks like there's extra padding on this. We might need to make a change here. Either that or it might be okay. It looks like for some reason we need to throw a margin bottom on this because this looks a little bit funky. 0. Either that or there's some weird margin going on with the other guys. There we go. It looks better. Cool. So there's that. Next we need to do this create content group, content date group. Yeah, okay, that's fine. So this one's gonna be interesting. So we're gonna go in here. Whoops. And come in here. So this one is definitely gonna be width 100%. Height can just fit content, doesn't really matter. And we're gonna go ahead and say what do we want to do next? So we want to say we'll just display flex this, I guess. Display flex. Justify content is going to be spaced evenly. Yeah, price spaced evenly, and then align items will be in the center. Now the thing is going to be getting kind of like the other guys correct, so we need to get these are going to need class names on them, so that's not going to be fun. How do I want to do this? Because all of these need class names. So class name equal to, and ooh, we can't put a class name on it. I think because this isn't quite gonna do what I want. I mean, it doesn't look horrible, but there's got to be a way for me to style this. Let's take a look real quick. I'll do a date selector. Style doesn't do anything though. Just has data. Pretty sure this just takes like 100% of the size, if I'm correct. Because it uses a styled input box. The style input box just takes 100% the width. So what we're gonna have to do, unfortunately, is we're gonna have to wrap each one of these inside of a div. Last name equal to scheduled post total. We're gonna say month select wrapper. We're gonna do this to every single one of these, unfortunately. That's just how it's gonna be. So let's fix this one. And why would you work? So now we need a div with a class name equal to scheduled post. How's it going? Total month, and this one would actually be day dash selector. Hope your day, evening, morning, night, whatever time it is for you is going well. Go and fix this one, of course. And whoops. And div class name equal to scheduled post total, and then this will be year selector dash, and this will be wrapper. But also add wrapper to the other one as well. I don't know what the heck happened there, but this broke like crazy. Copy this, fix this. All right, do that. I guess the counter, whoops, the counter will just stay there. Let's add wrapper to this. So I had to do this because they're all different sizes, unfortunately. So the month one is a little bit larger. So let's see here. So this, we need a width, and let's start out with a width of like 30% just to see what it looks like. And then we'll also grab this one, copy this, and for this one will be day select, and day might be like 15. And then let's copy this. This is all just hypothetical numbers. I don't really know. Maybe this one's like 20%. And then we need a wrapper around this one, probably. Has a label on it. We might be able to say last name equal to, and say calendar wrapper or something. Say calendar wrapper. I don't know what's left here, but might need to make it slightly smaller, but we'll see. So we got 30, 45, 85. So let's go 15% with 15%. What does this look like? So, cool. These ones are scuffed, even though they shouldn't be. Did I typo something in these? Schedule post, modal, select wrapper. Oops, that's why. Select, and select this. Okay, so December needs to be a lot bigger. Also, this text is really small, so I need to change that text. So this guy is about 24 by 24. So if I come back in here, I think I have a 2514. This should be like 24 px. December needs to be a lot bigger. So December is approximately 50 or 240. We want to get that to about 240. So let's just see if we come in here. So this is at 30. What does 40 look like? So 40, and if we come in here, what does 40 look like? 40 is, it doesn't have to be perfect, 239 versus 240. That's, or 230. Let's go like 42%. Call it a day. Fine. Like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. Now it says 241. Perfect. That's fine. Day is approximately 107. One is approximately 89. So we don't need a double day. Excuse me, but let's just go like 20% maybe. What this looks like. So now day is 115, 106. So maybe we can make it just slightly smaller. Let's go like 18%. Excuse me for a second. This is probably good, I would imagine. But we can just take a peek. So 103 versus 108. That's within margin reason. I don't care. And year is approximately 128, and year here is 115. So we can increase year to maybe like 22. I don't know, whatever. We might not even need this part. This one might just be fine. It might just even it out. See. That doesn't look bad. 126, 126. That looks fine. Is this about 24? It's 18 by 18. That's close enough. Now, we might want to space. Instead of space evenly, let's go ahead and space around it, maybe. No, let's try we want it to be space between is what we want. Let's try space between. That might look better. The only problem now is, yeah, that gets pushed. So we're gonna want to do this. So we do want to go ahead and grab the dot, schedule, post, modal. This was calendar, select wrapper. And I don't know what width we have left. So 42, 18. Let me do some math here. And let's see. So calculator. We got 42 plus 18 plus 22. So we got this 82. What, 18 left? Be 18%. I might do this with 18%. Height is fit content, I guess. I might also say display flex and say justify content in the center and align items in the center. Let's just take a peek at what this looks like. And it doesn't quite do what I want. I think that there's some padding in some of these, maybe that might be taking a toll on this. Not 100% sure. Because let's see, do that, or I might not have called this quite right. Come back in here. What did I call it? Calendar select wrapper. I think I grabbed the right one. Let's just double check this. Actually, that was slightly different. So there we go. Now the issue is that there's still a little bit of space there, so maybe make this like 16% just to give it a little extra space. That's not enough space. Let's try 15. This is just going to be a testing game. By 14. This is just to make it kind of look good and have decent gaps. I could have probably figured out exactly what the gaps were and just put row gap in that top one, but it is what it is. I think it'll look fine. I think that decent enough. It might still be, we might still only need this to be like 10%. Now it is a little bit scuffed, pushed to the right a little bit, but I think that this is fine. I think that this will do. So now we need to do this next one, which we have to do the same stuff again. So we gotta do back in here, we gotta do these wrappers again. Unfortunately, we're gonna say div class name equal to schedule post total, and then this is our select wrapper. We're gonna do the same thing. We kind of just eyeball it, get it to be looking proper. There's that. Then we'll have another div class name equal to schedule dash post total. Then this will be minutes dash select dash wrapper. I thought like way back whenever I was first starting this part that this might be an issue, but I didn't know 100% it would be, so I kind of just ignored it. And now it came back and bit me. Class name equal to schedule dash post dash modal dash am pm dash select wrapper. This one only has 3, so I think it shouldn't be too bad. Copy this guy and do that. Cool, that's good to go. Go ahead and save this. So now what we're gonna want to go ahead and do is grab the first wrapper because the time should be fine. So copy this guy, and now we're gonna kind of play our magic. So width, this one is approximately 179, 181, and 181. You know what? These are all just gonna be like 30%. So this one we can just space this one evenly. We don't need to worry about this one. Just add some stuff in there. So we also skipped the time group. This should be outside this time group, I believe, because it's going to break everything. So let's move this. Let's grab the time group. So this one is just spaced evenly across them. So I'm just going to do this. And we'll say width 100%. We'll say display flex. We'll also say height is fit content. We're going to say, I think this one's a column gap, like 12px. And we'll say justify content. We don't need to worry about that. Obviously, we can just need align item center. And I think this one should be good. And we'll see how, well, I guess the gaps won't matter because they don't line up anyway. So we'll see how bad these look, of course. So I guess we go through and we did all of that for nothing. So let's gonna get rid of the column gap, I guess. We'll just justify content, space between like we did before, and we'll do these guys again because I messed up. So this one kind of sucks because they're all the same. If I could type, that'd be cool. Width, say 30%. And then we should have minutes. We should have AM PM. Minute. Let's do our AM PM. Copy this one. Say AM PM. So now we'll see if this looks good or not, but they should be roughly the same size. And let's actually make it like 31, I guess, because it's a little bit not close enough. Definitely too much of a gap. Okay, I guess we'll do 32. Still a bit of a gap there. You're never gonna get it perfect, but I want it to look at least decent. And now that gap looks a little bit bigger than these. Yeah, I'm thinking about doing this like 33, 33, 33. And what if we say row gap of 12px? What does this look like? Actually be column gap, but column gap 12px. There, I think that looks good. So that means with this one, I think we can send this one back to like 18 and then throw a column gap on this as well. Column gap at 12px. Let's see what it looks like. Yeah, cool. And I think that actually looks better. It looks good. Now, time zone looks like there should be a little bit of gap underneath of this box. So let's also, inside of the code on the time group, let's just go ahead and add a margin on the bottom. Margin bottom. Whoops. Of, I don't know, like 8 pixels or something. It's nothing crazy. Time zone date's already set up. Now this next one is like just regular black, looks like, and then it is font 200 and it might be a little bit thicker. So the last one, well, not the last one, but the time zone, grab this. So dot time zone. So this one has a font size of 20 pixels, I believe. Yep, 20 pixels, and it's just a generic color. So we'll say 20px. The font weight, maybe let's try like 600. And then I think that might be all we need. I don't think there's anything else crazy there. You might need some margin bottom or something. So although we definitely need to, if these aren't grouped yet, these need to be grouped. So div last name equal to scheduled post total. This will be time zone group. Make sure I spelled group right. So this also needs to be, wait, no it's not, I'm just crazy. What we need to do is how's it going? So I do not use JWT in this application. No, this one is simpler to just, well, I should say simpler than that, but not in this application. So let's see. I don't know why I was going crazy there. It's just this time zone guy has apparently a massive. Actually, you know what? It's this H3, I bet. Let's add margin 0 to this H3. If I could find the add margin 0 to this H3. I'm guessing that's what's going on. There we go, looks a lot better. Although this says central, mine says central time zone. This one says America/Chicago. So my international thing isn't quite working. Also, this is a little bit scuffed, so we might need to change this bottomless modal slightly to be. Although I think the bottomless modal does not fit content. Shoot. We might change this to fit content and then with the max height of whatever this is, instead of what's going on here, because it's kind of scuffed. But anyway, honestly, I'm just gonna keep the time zone as is. We could do some search, but JavaScript get time zone. We could do some looking. But I want to get the CSS done. I think this is the one that I'm using right now. We can double check. I'm pretty sure this is what I'm using right now. Is this international date time format .time zone. Although we got resolved options. Well, if I just say .time zone, it does not like it. That's why I'm using resolved options. What if I do this? I don't like it either because it's not. Yeah. Well, it is what it is. I'm not that worried about it. Our whatever this guy is, the top needs a margin bottom on it. So let's go back to the top here. Go to our top. This needs a margin, or not margin, a border. Border on the bottom of like this color, yes, and then just be 1 pixel and solid. Let's save that and let's take a peek. That. Now we got our this guy. We need a little bit of spacing under this, so I could probably just add some padding bottom. Adding on bottom of like 24 pixels or something. Just override the 12px, double it, send it to the next person, double it. Looks fine. And then lastly, the bottom, I don't know if this is in its own thing or not. It is. Go ahead and copy this. So this one is just going to be probably fit content or something. So come in here. So width will be 100%. The height just be fit content, and then our padding will be 100. Will be. I think I've been doing 8 pixels, so we'll do padding 8px. The color is blue, so we need to say, and it might also have a hover effect. It does. That's gonna be fun. Although this is not what I'm worried about. So there, and this is a little bit scuffed, but it is what it is. And honestly, we might want a padding of 12 instead of 24. So, oh, it is padding 12. Might even want a little bit more padding. Let's add that. Okay. So now what we need to do is the fun part. That's going to be a little bit more annoying. Let's go ahead and copy this. And this will need an on click at some point. I'm not doing it right now. So width will fit content, and how do I want to do this? Height will also fit content. So the question is, how do I want to deal with it? I think I'll deal with it like this. I'll say div class name equal to schedule post total content scheduled post dash pg. I'll copy this and paste it in here, and I'll this, and I'll just add some padding to the left, right, and top. I also need to add margin 0 to this. Margin 0, and that should make this look a lot better. So that looks already way better. So now we'll do the post PG. Make sure I copy this right. Also need to set the color. Let's do that as well. I didn't set the font size either. I'm a horrible coder. So color is going to be, I should probably grab the RGB. I guess it doesn't change color. So I'm just gonna go into the app. I have this all over the place. But it is what it is. So that's color, font size. Oh my goodness, got the hiccups. Font size 14px. I'm guessing the font weight is probably like 600. So there's that. Now width once again will be fit content. Height will be fit content, and we're gonna have some padding in here. So padding, forget how this works. Let's say 6px and 2px and see if that works the way that I want it to. Border radius, whoops, border radius, let's say 12px or 8px to start, because I don't know how big this is. That's the problem. Say 8px, and have a border none. Trying to think of what else we might need. That's fine. We need a hover now. If there is something that we need, we might want a flex, I guess. So display flex, and it will just justify content in the center and align items in the center. Okay, and the hover have a background color of RGBA. Let's grab an RGB converter real quick. So we'll say hex to RGB to RGB. Okay, paste it. Oops, copy what I wanted. I don't think I copied anything. I think I had something else. Paste it, convert, grab the RGB, cool, and hop back in here. So RGBA, and this will be like 0.3 maybe. Just guessing. The hover's not working. Also, this should double check. Schedule post modal content. Why is the hover not working? Or is it just too light? Oh, I mistyped RGBA. I'll do it. And cursor pointer. Okay, so it's backwards. So that's good to know. We want this one to be like 2, this one to be like 6. And border radius is not nearly enough. Let's try 12. This is going to be another one where we're just trying things. That might be good. Might be a little bit small. So let's try 8 pixels this way. And let's also say like 0.2, make it a little bit lighter. Again, this is all just trial and error. I think that looks pretty good. Now we're gonna need to update this to actually click on something, and I knew this was probably gonna be a problem. Um, we need to figure out something to do this. We also need to figure out how to style this part. No, actually, you know what? We have a whole lot of stuff to do because whenever we actually click on this, we need to actually set this to something. So that's gonna be fine. So I thought that we're out of the woods, but we're not out of the woods. Let's go back and take a peek at this really quick, and that'll probably call it. So we have the label somewhere for this. On click date open date selector. This does this. The label. And it opens this date, which has an ID of date selector. And we do this with this. And this is experimental. Let's do this. Do this, paste that date selector, and we say position absolute and top 0, and then maybe like right 0. Let's just see what happens. We need to change the position of this guy. Did nothing. That's not good. That's just a selector though. What if we say ::? There's probably something here that will do this. I have no idea though. Okay, so I'm gonna have to take a look at this. Progress bar, scroll bar. Yeah, so I'll have to do some looking at how to basically position that better. I think that we're at a decent spot for today. Obviously this is mad because it needs a valid date, but if I refresh, it'll be fine. Yeah, so this obviously needs to be done. That was an afterthought. And also need to update this. So before we end, let's go ahead and hop onto GitHub really quick and make some changes and make maybe a couple of tickets. Of course, I'm not signed into GitHub. Sign in really quick. It's probably going to be off. Okay, it didn't. Okay. Go to project. So here is our GitHub. Twitter clone. So right now we're scheduling a tweet for a different time. So we need to update this. So what do we need to do? So we need to set up the date selector. Let's go ahead and say update the code to work with the date selector, and we also need to update the bottomless modal to allow to be smaller. And I think that's everything for this. I don't know. I think that's everything. There was another bug, but I don't remember what it was at this moment. But yeah, and then we'll also need to make. Let's go ahead and update that. Then also, let's go ahead and go into issues for this project. I think we just need to go into issues. So repository, Twitter, issues. Let's go ahead and make a new issue. And I want this to be set up. It's going to be scheduled post view / modal. Not to take a look what this looks like, but let's go ahead and make that issue. I don't know if I put a label on this. I'll just put like, I don't see. Project will obviously be Twitter clone, and yeah, whatever. Submit new issue. and that'll be fine. I don't know if I've been closing these issues. It is what it is. I'm not that concerned about it. Um, but yeah, I think that's gonna do it. To go through and obviously do these, and this should be due obviously. But I'm gonna put it near the bottom because I'm not that concerned about it. One of the things that I'm not on high priority, but I think that's gonna be it. Thank you all for stopping by. Thank you all for watching at a later date, obviously. This has been Ethan Uncoder, and I'll see you guys in the next one.